Hello, SKMB family. Good to be with you once again this summer, and it is moving along quickly. I wanted to share a little bit of experience with you as a way of encouraging you in one sense. I had the experience of surviving a WestJet flight from Ottawa back home here to Regina, and I should get myself one of those "I survived a WestJet flight" t-shirts. Because these days, no doubt if you've been hearing in the news, it is a real challenge to get anywhere by flying. And at the very least, you'll be delayed, and at worst, you'll be canceled and rerouted again, which was our experience. We had booked seats at the very front of the aircraft. We splurged and booked for the premium seats for this trip to visit my son and his wife in Ottawa. And we ended up in the row of seats in front of the toilet. And so for many hours on this flight, all we heard is flush, 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 flush. And it took me a day or two to calm down after that experience, and it just wasn't pleasant, and there was almost no customer service, and so it was difficult. But you know, the more I was able to think about it after the fact, I reminded, sometimes ministry is like that when it's not as you planned, and you planned for the front seats in terms of ministry, and you end up in the seats in front of the toilet, and all you hear is flush, 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 flush. And that's difficult, and it attacks your character. Satan wants nothing more than to undermine us, discourage us, and cause us to act in ways that are not Christ-like. And so it was a good lesson at the end of the day for me. And I was just reminded from the letter of James, where he writes, "Be patient, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, and how patient he is for the autumn and spring rains. You too, be patient and stand firm." And so, brothers and sisters, friends, stand firm, be patient. I know it's a difficult time in ministry. Be patient. The Lord is good. He has a plan for us as a church family, and at the end of the day, we will join him in the kingdom that is yet to fully unfold. And so eventually we got home, and the trip was a success in that way. And so too, this trip of ministry will be successful if we are faithful, we trust him, stand firm, and be patient. So that's my word of encouragement to you. I want to highlight just a few things very briefly. There is an interview with Jeremy Martini at the end of this portion of my address, and that's a little bit lengthier, so I want to be quick at the front end in terms of giving you some news. The missional leadership videos produced by our discipleship coach Luke are still available. They're online. Please, leaders, they're for you as lay leaders in the church as a means to take up and gain traction post-COVID in terms of being on mission. This coming fall, we are hoping to produce another set of videos similar in format on conflict and dealing with conflict and conflict management in the church. So that's coming up. The lay leaders, there is a pastor and spouse retreat coming up for vocational pastors and spouses and directors, and that will be in October 17th to 20. The registration for that should be coming out in July, and so leaders, support your pastors and their spouses in participating. I think this will be a great period of renewal, of community, and of rallying them onto ministry. SKMB will be subsidizing this particular pastor and spouse retreat as a one-off. Because we see it as being incredibly valuable. It will be in Banff. It will be together with our brothers and sisters from the Alberta Conference. So I look forward to that and to that time of fellowship. We have just recently given 2 bursaries to 2 young adults And we want you to let your young people know if they're going to Bible school or discipleship school or something along, or a mission school. We want you to know there are bursaries that SKMB offers them. So please reach out to me for that information, or Rod Schellenberg in Hepburn. Want to let you know the Leaders Collective is going to run for the 2022 and 2023 year. Please go to our website for more information. We hope to send out information in our newsletter as well on that. Again, if you have any questions, please contact either myself or Rod Schellenberg in Hepburn. And it is just a great way for young leaders that are already serving the church to plug in to some training, some mentoring alongside their present activities and involvements, whether that's work or whether that's school. So this is a great opportunity. Check out our website. It's got lots of information on that. Lastly, I want to again remind you that the Biblical Counseling Ministry is available for vocational leaders, directors, planters. And it is just a great way to do a self-examination of what's going on in your life, how you're managing things, and if you're going through crisis, to get support. And this is for pastors and their spouses. SKMB is sponsoring the first 3 sessions with a counselor, Jason Kovacs, or one of his team members. So please reach out to me if that's a need. For now, I just want to wish you the best of holidays. If you are on holidays, or if you're going on holidays, may it be a refreshing and renewing time for you all. Be extra patient if you're flying. It might prove to be a character testing ground for you. I hope your experience is smooth and not challenging. So God bless you. Again, if you have an interest of me visiting with your church leadership or Sunday morning in a church service, please reach out to me. There are still some spots available this summer for me to come out on a Sunday, but I look forward to connecting in whatever way possible. For now, God bless you and make you incredible blessing to others. Stay tuned for the video with Jeremy coming up right now. Hello, SKMB family. Good to be with you again on this video. And I have the honor of being with Jeremy Martini, the president of Horizon College and Seminary, my friend and my colleague. And Horizon is our wonderful Saskatchewan partner in raising up healthy and effective and impactful disciples here in Saskatchewan. And so, Jeremy, good to have you with us again. Before you go on your holidays, and blessings on that. Hopefully it'll be a real restful time for you. So we want to keep this quite concise. So Jeremy, can you just give us what's happening at Horizon? What do we need to know that's going on there?
Yeah, lots of thanks, Phil, and really good to be here, and lots of good stuff happening, and hopefully we can let you know about it, and hopefully those watching this can let others know too. But lots of incredible new programs we've got going. We have at the undergrad level, of course, with our partnership now with Saskatchewan Polytechnic, there are excuse me, literally any conceivable type of combination with Sask Poly, but we have launched a whole bunch of programs that we got accredited with our accrediting body that combine studies at Sask Poly and at Horizon. So we really focus on the Christian worldview formation, the biblical, theological, character, spiritual formation, and Christian leadership formation piece. That's what we do. We do well. And then we want to be able to blend that with studies that you can do vocationally, and bring either to combine to come into the church, or vocationally that you're going to work in a different vocation, everything from industrial arts to care practitioner to the medical stuff that goes with Sask Poly. We also have that with the Edwards School of Business as well, with the entrepreneurial and admin programs there. So we're looking at how do we equip Christian leaders and Christian disciples to impact the church and impact God's kingdom by blending these kinds of things together, and give you a best of both kind of situation. So that's happening. And then of our master's level, our seminary, I just got back. I'm one of those people that got, I think you're also, Phil, got the adventure of traveling right now in our airlines. So some of those of you who know Dr. Harry Strauss, he and I spent some time on the floor in the Toronto airport, and that was a good evening. And a couple extra days in Pittsburgh. But we just got back from that great journey where we were welcomed into the ATS, the Association of Theological Schools. So that's in a seminary accrediting body. So now we're associate members there. And on that journey, we have our leadership MA and our counseling MA. And the counseling one, again, with that, we really wanted to focus on how do we do biblical, godly, theological studies well blended with a high level of counseling. So we wanted to bring those two worlds together without compromising on anything there. And we also have a women's cohort. So this is for women that are leaders, and we have people who are in the marketplace. We have people who are in Christian ministry, but they are looking at developing their own gifts and just being able to travel together. This isn't like a separate sub, study. This is these are women who are actively engaged at all levels of leadership, but looking to share that journey with other women. And I've had the opportunity to teach in some of the courses, and wow, what an honor! Like these are super sharp people. So so that's new. And then finally, I guess the new thing around our building, and we've been in here for a year and a half, but we're still finalizing things. So we had temporary wall. We were able to reconfigure all our spaces into different sizes and different configurations. We had temporary walls in because of COVID. We couldn't get them manufactured. So now we're getting we have the genuine movable walls that are a little easier to move, and they're in boxes upstairs. And so I have a big empty space upstairs that is going to be ready to go and awesome by September. So that's lots of stuff happening there. Okay. Yeah.
A lot of this information is Jeremy's on our website on the banner at the top, so folks can go to skmb.ca as well as the Horizon site for some of this information that you've been talking about. Jeremy, can you speak for a moment in terms of the urgency in Canada for Christian leaders and that piece, because I think COVID in the last 2 years, the culture at large and the culture in the church has changed dramatically. Can you speak to how Horizon can speak into that, how Christian leadership training can speak into that?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think if you can ever say, you've existed for a time such as this, I think this is where we're finding our purpose here. Been around since 1935, but I guess at all ages. But yeah, the urgency right now for godly, competent Christian leaders is so acute, and we're seeing that. If we're going to do the kind of the preacher alliteration, all the C's, but the Canadian culture, of course, we have seen a rapid shift, and there's people on different sides of this shift, but unquestionably, we have seen a rapid shift in our Canadian social values taking place just at breakneck speeds, just in the last few years. That is, of course, reflected in our churches, and we're seeing churches polarizing internally. We're seeing shifts then in the church taking place all across the board, not just mainline churches, but in our MB churches and in evangelical churches. And so that's taking place. And of course, that then affects us as a ministry, as a college. So, Canadian culture and church and college, we have a tied relationship with our churches. We're here to serve the church. That's why we exist. We're here to produce leaders for the church who can shepherd and lead well in these circumstances. And at the same time, we depend on the church to get those leaders. So our leaders come out of the church, and our churches support and underwrite the ministry that we do. So when the church is healthy, we see an abundance of leaders coming out of it. We see high levels of support there. When the church needs its leaders, sometimes in those contexts, that's where that's where there's less health, and we need to see. It's even harder then to find some of those leaders. So right now, I think as a college, we're looking to be able to feed our church, but simultaneously we're also fed by the church. And we're at a point right now in our Canadian history where we really need competent, godly Christian leaders to step in. I know there's lots of churches that are looking to a lot of the ministers are looking to retire. Some of them are extending their time beyond where they would normally, because there just aren't enough leaders coming up behind to step in. We need to really be promoting that, our leaders. And I think our church leaders need to recognize there's a bit of we're shy in Canada to do it, but how many of us, I know for myself and over many people, we need someone to encourage us to step out and say, I really think, spending a year at Christian education could really be transformative for you. Just take a year. You're not going to rush off to do your job, rush off to do university or whatever. Just take that 1 year to get founded. And so often for so many of us, that's the story where God stepped in and changed our lives and changed the trajectory of our lives. Certainly was for me. I was going to be a lawyer. I was set on it. And that 1 year stepping out changed my life. And I know that that's the story for many, many people. Mm-hmm. So, encourage our leaders, current leaders, to not be shy to tap someone. It's not going to ruin their lives to spend an extra year of getting their Christian formation established, and maybe God will speak to them, and those will be the next leaders that we didn't anticipate. So I encourage that. And supporting, that's the other crisis we've had, like, since with COVID, another C, but with COVID, we did this fantastic, bold move. We had all these things in process, and then COVID hit. So we basically, the move, we shouldered that financial burden, and with COVID, charitable giving across everywhere has really gone down, but we certainly massively were impacted by that. So we ended up incurring all the costs involved in that, very largely on our own, which has now, of course, set us back and significantly. So we're looking at partners to come on board, and we depend on churches and individuals and Christian corporations to kind of help subsidize the cost of education. So over 60% of that cost comes from those partners. So yeah, lots of challenges there, but so many opportunities too, because this is the time when godly leaders step up and we see a big change. This is when I think the church bounces and revives, and I'm excited about that.
Thank you, Jeremy. I think that's a good word for all of us. I'll let you have the last word before we sign off, in terms of how can we pray for you? How can we support you? I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, thanks. Well, we just have been so honored to be partnered with the MB family, and of course with your office here and the Multiply office here, and on our campus. But just, I think we need to be praying for the church in Canada. So you can be praying for that. I think this is the time when God does revive his church, is when we're seeing kind of ourselves get pushed a little bit against the wall. We need to pray for leaders to step up. We've seen some growth in terms of our enrollment, which we're really grateful for, but at the same time, it's really slow. And I know it's across the board. I've talked to theological college presidents. We're just experiencing such a slowdown. Be praying. It's not about the colleges. It's about what we're about, which is about seeing those leaders step in. We really need to be encouraging people. Be praying for new, young, and less young leaders to step out, and then prayerfully, as we're financially we're carrying the burden on a lot of this, and so be prayerful even in your own contexts. Would the churches consider kind of adding us as a place to support and sharing the message with others that it's a really worthy thing to support. Really, everything does depend on someone to lead it. So any ministry you can think of has someone leading it at some point on the chain. And so it's really a kind of a first responder sort of ministry. So yeah, I encourage those prayers and ask for those. And again, just so thankful, Phil, for you and for us, SKMB family. It's such an honor to be serving with you.
The feeling is likewise, and so blessings as you continue on, and especially as you take some time for rest and renewal this summer. Blessings to you and the staff there at the school.
Thanks so much.
Okay, bye for now.
God bless you. Thank you.